Yes, what is up, guys? Cassin Mikira here, and it's guys. 2025 is officially over, right? I think for me, at least, it was over. I mean, more than 1.5 months ago. I know that the days, the weeks, the months, sometimes it can feel like it's forever. At the same time, past 2 years, 3 years has been passing by like a wind, to be honest. And in this episode, I'm going to just share with you what I've been focusing like most of my time on, like what I've been focusing to build and improve, essentially to make sure that we get into 2026 in better condition than we have been in during 2025. So for those of you, like, I don't know if you ever had a mentor, but I had a mentor. He's not alive anymore. However, he shared with me, God said 6 days labor, 1 day rest. Essentially, you work 6 days, you rest 1 day. And then he said also 10 years labor, 1 year rest. So, inshallah, as I say, I will basically take 1 year off once I've worked 10 years. It's quite far. I think I'm like 60%, no, 40% in, right? So I have quite some way to go, right? And he also mentioned to me that, Cassin, by the end of every night when you retire, you should reflect at least 5 to 10 minutes. And by the end of every weekend, so every week basically, you should also allow yourself to have at least 2 hours to reflect on the week. And to be honest, this is my kind of way to reflect doing these podcasts, right? It requires me to think what have I been focusing on and putting my time like into this past week, right? And essentially, he also mentioned by the end of every quarter, make sure that you also reflect and spend, like, so every quarter you should spend one full day to just reflect. By the end of every year, you should spend a full weekend to just reflect. Ideally, 1 week is isolated, you yourself and you. And to be honest, I've not been like really following it the past 1.5 year. I used to do it like 2 years ago, but like I've chose to optimize differently the past years since it's been a lot of changes in my life. And one thing I figured out when I was reflecting today is actually that I see how much time it takes to really gather down all of the learnings you've done, and really understand them and split them, like break them up so you understand what did you do that was good, how can we double down on those things, and also what did we do that was not good and how can we not double down on those things, right? So essentially, I figured that I need to find these things for myself, and I did. I'm not like fully done yet. I think this is like a work in progress. Essentially, I figured that for this 2025, it's been a very, very healthy year in terms of regaining back focus. I've done less projects. Like, just to give you an idea, back in 2024, I had like on average 10 plus projects that I was part of in some way and managing something. And this year I broke it down to like three, four. Like, can you imagine, from 10 to 3, 4? That's a huge improvement. Less focus on much stuff and more focus on less stuff, which makes you also like more valuable to the team, to the project itself, as you have more focus and you are able to actually go over and above in a way that you can't. So that's a huge thing for me, that to not take on like incredibly amount like of work, because all work is not like worth it. You need to be choosing, right? And on top of that, looking at the two main projects I've been focusing on the second half of this year, especially basically Naturlöhyd, where I've broken down exactly all of the good things we did, all of the less good thing we did, and I've started to create a plan for the team. I look at it like a plane, and we have a destination, right? So Naturlöhyd as a plane, this is the vehicle, right? For next year now, we are aiming for 2 million in the Swedish market, and then we'll expand to reach 4 to 5 million in like adding Norway and potentially Denmark, right? And I've really like looked into everything in depth. And to be honest, I've been using AI a lot in this process. And so I spend like 60% of my time this week, like every day, basically, looking into all of the things we've done and the things we didn't do, and broken it down to the things we need to do next year for like each department. And wow, are you saying wow? It's a lot of things we need to do. And my goal, as I said in like other episodes, it's really to not be needed in Naturlöhyd. So the ideally for me is like I'm a part of planning 2026. However, I don't want to be involved. Like I don't want, if something breaks somewhere, don't call me. Don't text me. Just fix it. That's why you're here, right? And I feel like kind of I've reached that point in some ways, especially for the email marketing and also creative. So I will just need to improve that, and like Meta and Google team needs to be improved to ensure that we can keep growing without me, because I don't want to be the constraint. That's a thing I think most founders like struggle with, that they need to be everywhere in order for the things to grow. But then you're not really building a business. You're just scaling your ideas through other people's like time and energy. However, that's not scalable. Because if you're not there and something happens, guess what? You are needed. And this is the thing you're trying to optimize away from, right? So that's been like 60% of my time to really figure out how can we set up 2026 so Cassin Mukire doesn't need to be a part of the picture, right? And of course, I'm really, really excited, and I'm also really optimistic, despite also being like realistic, because you can't just be delusional and think that everything will go perfectly. That's not how everything works. I hope you guys know it by now. Yeah, and the rest of the 40%, to be honest, been focused on really mapping up how I will be approaching the Swedish market once I reach there, when it comes to CMOS, as we are going to focus on the B2B side of the business, right? So that will be like a huge focus during 2026. And I'm going over to Sweden now to basically approach some like vendors to see if there is an opening for us to come in as a new product the upcoming year. I got a confirmation from China that our like boxes they are going to get shipped now, so that's a really good thing. And besides that, to be honest, it's nothing else for me to do there right now, because I feel now that I've set the right expectations on the team. I had some challenges with that, because in a team, it's important for you as a leader to not feel that you're the one like putting in the oil for the motor of the vehicle to run. Like you can't be the only one. You need to be, all of you need to basically kind of contribute to this like vehicle moving forward. I felt kind of stuck in that sense. However, I feel like I've clarified that for my team, and now the next step is just for me to see the evidence, if they have actually taken it in and will take disciplined actions and do what we agreed on, or if they will not, then I need to do something, right? So it's a work in progress, right? One project I've not, that is in my like field as well, in my portfolio for now, is actually the Safari business. We didn't do anything the past 2 to 3 weeks. I've basically told my partner in Africa, Uganda, it's your time to make the inputs. So make the inputs until like the end of this year, and we will basically start with the marketing activities. So that's basically what I'm going to also focus on the upcoming week, besides being fully focused on CMOS, because Naturlöhyd is fully done. I will not do anything more this upcoming week in terms of like just going through all of the details of the plans, and if there is anything that needs to be changed, each team member needs to be the one taking these changes, and I need to approve these changes as well. So with that in mind, guys, you hear like it's a lot of things, especially coming like to an end of 2025, excuse me. And of course, you can't forget to also reflect about your personal life. What's the goal? What's the vision? Like one thing I have ahead of me is actually I want to buy land in the country I'm living in right now, but I'm just waiting and looking into how the political stuff are going to expand, like how it's gonna play, because this country is not a part of EU yet, but it will in the next 4 or 5 years. For me, to be honest, I really don't want it to become a part of EU, but I can't do so much about it because EU is basically forcing this country to become a part of it. So what to do, guys? With that said, thank you so much for chiming in. It's gonna be a really exciting upcoming year. Said you need to plan, you need to like reflect, and you need to really study the past year so you can put the lessons in the right place during the upcoming year. With that said, hasta la vista.